Hello, viewers. Welcome to Busy Talks Presents Real Business Lessons. This is our first episode, and we are here to welcome you and bring you the real lessons from around the corporate world. Busy will bring you uh, all the corporate leaders and entrepreneurs and share their insights straight onto the LinkedIn Live. So, we introduce you to our first guest speaker today, Mr. Rustom, engineer.
Hello, people. Thank you
Hi,
for having me on
Rustom.
board. Hi, Rakesh. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, bro. How are you?
I'm doing great as well.
So, Rustom, welcome to our first episode, and it's an honor to have you. And since I've worked with you, I can't really express my happiness. How happy I am to have you on board and share your insights with us, with our audience. And why don't you share something about yourself with the audience?
Sure, Rakesh. To begin with, thank you for having me on board. I'm happy to be here as well. Now, with reference to my personal career, with reference to the real estate market, I actually started with Nesco. I was heading the Bombay Exhibition Center, and at that particular point of time, Nesco IT3 was coming up. So I was taking care of Nesco real estate as well. Through Nesco, I got to know about the IPC worlds about real estate, and I entered real estate officially through Colliers International. I spent 2 years over there, worked, learned a lot, an amazing place to work in. Post Colliers, I realized in 2016 the bubble of co-working had just begun, and at that particular point of time, even WeWork wasn't in the picture. It was just Regis and few local players here and there. I was like, you know what, this is where my career should be focused towards. So I joined AWFIS, spent 3 years. Obviously, you were my colleague that time. And at that time, it was not about how efficient a co-working center is. At that time, it was explaining to the market what a co-working center is, what is co-working, what are the benefits. So we've reached from the market not understanding what co-working is to now where people want to get into co-working. So 3 years with AWFIS. Post that, I had spent around 3 years with Empire Business Center, part of Empire Industries. Post that, I'm currently working with WeWork. So this is
Nice,
what it
nice.
is.
So a career from builder to a broker to a co-working space operator. How has your
Yes.
experience been with these, different stakeholders in the same commercial real estate industry?
My experience, thankfully, Touchwood has been really good in all the particular different roles that I've worked in. What I realized, especially for me, it's not how good the role is, it's what you are meant for. I felt I'm personally meant to be on the client side, then approaching a client, the tenant representation aspect of an IPC. You need to have a certain characteristics, you need to have a certain trait. Now I'm in WeWork, I represent the brand. Or say I represent, I'm from the builder side. I represent the brand. You require a certain trait, you need a certain way of working. I feel I'm more comfortable over here. So I've experienced both the sides of the coin, and yes, that it's good for me.
Wow, nice. So, Rustam, our motto of this LinkedIn Live is to share our experiences and share the insights of market and share the lessons that
Absolutely.
we have learned from our experiences with our audience, right? So, we
Sure,
will
sure.
begin with that. Okay. So, my first question to you is where do you think the commercial real estate market is heading now?
That's a very good question. So this question will be completely different in 2019, start of 2020, before COVID. We leave that pre-COVID era that's gone by. Now, post-COVID era, it's a complete change. Okay,
Hmm.
people are inclined towards flex work, and more importantly, people are inclined towards hybrid models as well. Now, I know certain family run businesses who would have never even thought of working from home or working from the nearest co working center. And now they've mentioned that COVID has actually opened their minds up and eyes up that, you know what, my employees, I well as not force them to travel 3 hours to work, I well as allow them to work to the closest co-working center, and them being more productive, and then them appreciating that I'm investing in their happiness and in their comfort. So
True.
this is where the hybrid model runs. Now, with reference to hybrid models, even international companies, say companies say with 2,000, 3,000 employees, say you have the spoke and the hub model. The hub is where the company is. Let's say the company is in Lower Parel, but a person like me who has to travel from Thane, or a person who has to travel from Malad, it may not make sense traveling say 5 hours daily to and fro. So what these companies have done is they have identified certain co-working places close by, and those employees work in the co-working space maybe once or twice a week. There is obviously a team meeting to understand the where the company is heading, and you have the advantage of both convenience as well as face-to-face interaction, because work from home concept, even though there are certain companies that have embraced it, most of the companies prefer
Hmm.
not embracing it. And on a personal basis, people like me who are married, there will always be say distractions working from home. I well
Working
as
from home,
work
yeah.
in
Hmm.
a professional place that takes me 10 minutes to travel than working from home. So, yeah, people prefer working from the nearest place and reporting to their managers once or twice a week, depending on the
So
way things are going.
working near home is much more preferred than working from home, if I may summarize that, right?
Absolutely. And
Sure.
actually, I just read
Sure.
one of the market info. Co-working center in general is increasing
Hmm.
19% year on year. And COVID has actually pushed co-working centers
Nice.
to an extremely large extent.
Sure. Sure. So let's talk about the markets in Mumbai, okay? Because you are managing Mumbai as the broker partnership, right? So
Yes.
which are the hottest markets in Mumbai that a local broker or a IPC has to focus really on?
Okay, so it's a no-brainer, this particular question. BKC and Andheri are the spokes of Mumbai as of now, till the metro lines are
Okay.
fully functional. Now, Andheri had a first mover advantage because since metro started in Andheri, everyone considered Andheri as a spoke. Anyways,
Right.
Andheri was a spoke because it combines east and west. And a BKC is the place to be if you want to show the world that you have made it, because it's the most premium location. And with reference to rentals, also, client will know, okay, if you are in BKC, you have made it in life. So these are the prime locations, but again, it depends on the industry you represent. If I'm a call center, I will not obviously look at these places. I'll look at Navi Mumbai or Malad. If majority of my employees are from the western suburbs, I would look at Malad as an option. Airoli has always been a hub for co-working for call centers, but now Airoli, between Airoli and Vashi, I would say entire Navi Mumbai has been considered as not like a tier two city; it's like an extension of Mumbai. And because of the railway connectivity, say back-end offices, Navi Mumbai is the preferred location.
Okay. Okay. Um, so we spoke about working from home, and now many companies have adopted these work from home models. Some of them try to come out of this work from home model and force their employees to work out of offices. Where we read that the employees are not happy with this work from home office. Sorry, the work from home culture, right? So do you think this work from home culture is affecting your office deals or office leasing, in general per se?
Not really, especially if I'm representing the co-working center, it's actually benefiting us. Let me give you an
Okay.
example. Pre-COVID, if my company had a strength of 1,000 people, I would have an office with 1,000 desks dedicated to people. Now, say I convince my boss that I am as efficient in office as I'm working from home, and on top of that, I'm saving on electricity, Wi-Fi cost. It's just a convenience for both of us. So what companies have
Right.
realized is as long as the productivity continues, let them work from home, but we'll simultaneously have an office with flex desks. So instead of having 1,000-seater conventional office, I will let's take a 300-seater smaller conventional office where there's a rotation once every 3 days or once every 4 days employees have to come. Or more importantly, people have realized let me have a small office. Let us understand how efficient it is. And this is where co-working centers come. Because co-working centers,
Right.
what matters is you have a service agreement and you don't have a leave and license agreement. Leave and license, you are stuck for 3 years in general. And on
True.
top of that, the investment in terms of the interiors. Co-working, you can have either 1 month or 1 year, depending on your convenience, or you can have it at a longer term as well. And the advantage is the companies understand is this concept working, and 99.99% of the time this concept does work. So you have employees in front of you once or twice a week, and rest of the week they are happily sitting at their respective places. Or there will always be a small part of employees who are like, you know what, I want to work from office all the days. They obviously do come over to their respective offices. So work from home has not really affected us. It's just that there has been a shift. Bigger companies are now taking smaller spaces.
Okay. And is it across all the markets, or as we mentioned about BKC and Andheri, is it only in those
I see
particular
this
markets which?
across. See, I see this across most of the markets. Now, obviously, you have certain industries where you have to come, right? Like
Mm,
the service industry, if you're not present, you can't sell a product. So it
yeah.
does not affect those companies. But India is a place where most of our industry is IT related or tech support. And as long as you have the proper infrastructure, proper laptop, proper Wi-Fi at your residence, you can continue your work from there. You need not, as I mentioned, travel because time is money,
Mm,
and more
mm, mm.
importantly, you have a fatigue reaching office after 1.5 hours, fighting with a person in the train or in traffic. It's just better.
Yeah, you lose productivity in the first 2 hours of the day itself while traveling.
Exactly. I mean,
True.
that's what it is.
Cool. So let's talk about the market, as we said that how the market is shaping up. You said that co-working is picking up its speed. So do you
Absolutely.
predict that office leasing market will be predominantly dominated by co-working? I would say in that way in the next 2 to 3 years.
Absolutely not. There is always a market for convention. There's always a market for co-working, and the market will always be dominated by conventional offices. You consider Andheri Kurla Road, only a certain amount of that real estate property has gone to co-working. It's predominantly done. It's predominantly controlled by conventional offices. So co-working is never a replacement. Co-working is just something that is
A
supporting the
facilitator.
conventional office.
Hmm.
Yes, a facilitator. It's supporting the conventional office industry in general. The conventional office grows, co-working grows. Co-working grows, conventional office grows. And also, COVID has made people, quite a few people remember. I mean, they've got a lot of free time. So there have been quite a few good concepts that have come up, quite a few startups that have come up. Because if you notice, after co-working, there was an entire bubble of startups. And where do startups go? They're not going to rent 1,000 square feet office, spend
Yeah.
20 lakhs doing the interior, right? They will as rent a 8-seater cabin in a co-working space. And
Hmm.
eventually, I mean, if they do grow, they do get funding, they may plan to go to a conventional office. So it is a yin and yang aspect. We are dependent on each other. That's how it is. Also,
Okay.
what I've
Okay. So
noticed
so
is,
to summarize,
please.
I would put it in this way that co-working is helping conventional offices to lease out their spaces, and the corporate clients or startups to save their money, which is a win-win situation between both of them.
Yeah, yes, you could put it in that way.
Right. Right. Great. So let's move forward with some learnings for our audience and understand how they
Hmm,
can leverage out of this current trend or current market trends of co-working spaces.
I
So
get that.
how do you suggest the brokers should source their leads from?
Okay. Now, there's no replacing the old school way of building mapping. But what builders have realized, it takes a lot of effort to get clients in their conventional offices,
Can
and
we can we spend
obviously,
can we spend 2 minutes to explain what building mapping is?
building mapping is as simple as entering a building, mentioning, okay, this is what I used to do when I was in an IPC. I used to
Yeah,
identify a
yeah.
client, go
Hmm.
on the LinkedIn page, understand who's the admin person, either get an appointment through him, or at least I have a name to mention at the reception. I'm meeting XYZ from XYZ company. I get the
Right.
access. I go on the top floor, knock every door, request request a meeting with the admin, explain what I am. I represent this IPC. I would like to know if at all you are wanting to expand or downsize or relocate. This is my contact details. Please do get in touch with me as and when required. So this was the old school way. Okay.
Hmm.
At times we were not allowed till especially in A grade buildings, we were not allowed till an email confirmation from the clients used to come. But this was the way that I used to do. Now the builders have become strict. As a builder, if I own building A and I have 20 tenants, and if I see brokers keeping on coming in trying to extract my tenants from the building, obviously that is something that I would not appreciate. So now
True.
building mapping has become more and more difficult. So then there are various other ways. There are softwares. There is um, say inventory, client name, and which tenants are occupying that inventory. You have data online that you can purchase. You have something called as PropStack, or there are various other softwares where you can purchase where you just skip the aspect of building mapping. Obviously, it's in lakhs. It is expensive, but you got to understand. Even if you close one deal, your first brokerage will kind of overcompensate the investment in this particular software. I've seen quite a few brokers doing this. I've also seen, because the
Yeah.
broker community is so close knit, people contributing and 3, 4 brokers collectively purchasing this data. So I think this
Nice.
is the way
Nice.
that you go ahead. There's one more way that you can, uh, understand how to go ahead in the market. And this is the old school way. What, again, people in IPCs or brokers do is you just keep a track of the clients that you have closed. Okay, you closed a client A, after 3 years there's going to be a renewal. So you approach them 2.5 years later, 6 months
Hmm. Hmm.
before, or 3, 4 months before the competition would approach them. Hi sir, how you doing? It's been long. By the way, I know that there's going to be a renewal. Can I help you in the renewal? If you're not happy, can I help you looking at other locations? You create a bond, and the thing is, you do this for the first 3 years. It's basically a ball that will just rotate, and you're in auto mode. It just keeps on going ahead.
Right. So, now with that said, there are some of the digital tools also, or nowadays social media is also picking up. So,
Yes.
do you think that lead generation via social media or other digital marketing is effective in terms of commercial real estate for brokers?
Absolutely. Instagram is an example, LinkedIn is an example. I'm telling you, with reference to residential, I personally feel Instagram is more effective than LinkedIn because everyone is hooked to social media. Like,
Right.
because the shorts, SHORTS, it's the shorts the jamana. Even YouTube has had shorts. So I've seen quite a
Yeah.
few local brokers creating a 30-second video, uploading on LinkedIn, or uploading on Instagram as well as YouTube. And when
Hmm.
you just keep on scrolling and you see his name again and again and again, as long as the video is attractive, put some good music in the background, have a stable camera phone. I think your brand is spread by word of mouth, and eventually, say 2, 3 years down the line, if I want to purchase anything, I'll remember, oh, that I've seen this guy. He has so many properties under him. I should approach him first. So this is the world of social media, and that is extremely important.
Okay. So, with that said, let's proceed with the dealing with the clients. So, how do you
Hmm.
prepare and what should you prepare on before meeting the client?
Okay. So the fact that the client has called you to meet him, that means you have overcome the first major barrier, because you got to understand you would be one of the 100 people who have approached him. And the fact that he wants to call you over, you have to put your best foot forward. Number one, obviously, especially for local brokers, get dressed appropriately, because I've seen a broker may have the best of knowledge, but if you're not even semi-formal dressed, I don't think so. That's a good impression. Number two, understand the company. If it's a multinational company and if their companies has arms in various countries, if there is some geopolitical issue going on in that country, you can say, I hope that vertical is fine. I hope the people over there are fine. I heard that there were floods in that place. I hope everything is fine. You just show that I'm aware that you are not only in India, but you're
You know
what do you
about
call
their
it? You
business
exist.
across.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know about their business across, and they
What's
exist globally.
happening in
So
the industry.
exactly. So you know about that.
Understood.
Also, before a client wants to meet you, I'm sure they will not tell you anything in detail, but just understand a brief or just the gist of what the requirement is. If he says, you know what, I want XYZ number of seats, say in a market like Andheri, understand what is the availability in Andheri. Apart from Andheri, understand, sir, apart from Andheri, this is a location on the left, this is a location on the right. This is the price difference. If you go here, if you go there, even though the location Y is more expensive, but it is closer to the station. So convenience means attracting better human resource. And I feel location Y is preferred, but obviously you are the boss. You let me know the way ahead. So you give them suggestions. Don't force. Give them suggestions. Don't force anything on them, but let them make the decisions. But let them be aware that you know everything A to Z.
Got it. That's a very nice insight that you gave, because most of the times what happens is, you ask the client what is their location preference, and rather being a consultant, you are actually serving their needs, and that's not really what the client is expecting out of you, because you have to act as a real estate expert, right?
Exactly. Rakesh, you'll be surprised how many times people have chosen location A and they've ended up in location B. And the
True.
broker who has spent 6 months on location A did not consider location B. Not only that, I have personally seen clients who are like, I'm not looking at co-working center, I'm only looking at a conventional office. This broker spent 6 months, and the very last moment an IPC comes in, is like, sir, I know you are not looking at co-working center, but this is not a co-working center. It's like considered as a managed office. Convince him that this is what your thought process is, and I'm assuring you, this particular vertical of real estate will match your thought process. Just come for one visit. And moment they enter the visit, 50% of the time the clients are convinced, you know what, actually, this is something that I can consider. Why not?
So another aspect can be that, a ready finished product, a co-working space is more attractive than a bare shell space of a conventional setup, right? And that makes a client choose co-working over a conventional office space.
No, it's not only that, Rakesh. If I give you a 1,200 square feet office, say for 30 employees or
Hmm.
20 employees, however good the office is, it will never match the overall ambience and the liveliness of a co-working center. It's not
Correct.
only about saving cost, it's about getting the ambience, getting, say, the 6,000 square feet space of a common cafeteria, which you will not get over there. It's like, say, like a premium co-working center like WeWork. There are centers that have a swimming pool, there are centers that have a gym, there are centers that have, all our centers have wellness centers, play areas. You're not going
Nice.
to get all of that in the best of the small spaces. So it's
So
just that
those are
the
added
overall package,
advantages. Yeah.
it's the package, it's the
Hmm.
experience that you get by entering
Hmm.
such spaces. Moment you enter a co-working center, it's a wow factor, which you may not,
Correct.
how much ever good your office may be, if the entrance of the building doesn't have a wow factor, what's the use?
Right. So now let's move on to giving our advice to local brokers and to people who are starting their business in commercial real estate, right? So with your experience, how can a business best position themselves and differentiate from the competition now that there are IPCs, there are local brokers? If there's a startup who wants to start with this business, what advice would you give to that startup who is starting a consultancy business in commercial real estate?
That's a good question. I'll tell you what, if anyone wants to start a business, I'm sure they've done the research, they know the market, and they know whom they want to target. There are certain brokers who would only want to target a particular vertical. Like if I know certain people that deal in retail, I'll only be targeting retail. I'll want to create a niche for myself over there. Because especially if you're a team of two, three people, you can't do everything. Now, I know brokers in Andheri that they are specifically looking at speaking to builders that, okay, this is your building, give me the mandate. Within 6 months, I
Hmm.
guarantee you, itni sare floors will be covered. And they're so good in that that that's what they concentrate on. They do not spend the resource going every building, mapping, trying to close a two-seater, 10-seater, 500 square feet office, 5,000 square feet office, because you got to understand your niche and you got to understand what you're comfortable at. Now, if you're more comfortable representing a building, and obviously, apart from that, what you need to understand is your value add. Do you have a website? Do you have a web presence? Obviously, with reference to web
Hmm.
presence, the simplest thing is to do is have a free LinkedIn account, Instagram account, Facebook page. Even to boost your pages or your posts is just 2-3 thousand rupees. That's the minimal account you need to put in, right?
True, true.
And I just understand what your niche is and work accordingly. And the advantage of a broking community is because it's so well knit. If I want to consider retail, and tomorrow if I get a conventional office, I can always tell my once you're in a broker community, you know everyone. You can always tell Mr. X who deals in conventional offices, you know what? I have a really good hold on this client. Client मेरा ये दोस्त है. Don't worry. I will be able to control him as long as you give him relevant properties. Whatever is the brokerage, we can split it 50-50. It's you need to be a man of your word, and I'm sure the news spreads
So
and
work
everyone
with the
starts trusting you.
community.
Work with the community, and that's the advantage brokers have as opposed to IPCs. IPCs have strict rules
Hmm.
that they cannot
Hmm.
bend. Brokers, fortunately or unfortunately, can bend rules as long as revenue is generated. It's as simple as that.
True. So I'll just pause here because I noticed few points. You mentioned about going digital. You mentioned about creating your web presence, and but with that, how important it is to create a brand and focus on it, because it is a cost, right? So.
Hmm. So again, creating a brand depends on the way you are taking it ahead in terms of the cost. Like a simple thing, like like on creating a smart card. You do not have Gmail. Please have your company's name, like Rakesh at the rate rakeshproperties.com. You know, these small things matter. Have a landline number that you can access to. Having a landline and a mobile number, 99.99% of the times people will never contact you on a landline. It's a day of mobile, but they see the landline number. It matters. Have a virtual office in a co-working center. A virtual office from 1,000 to 2,500, depending on where those buildings are. Like if you want a virtual office in BKC, it would range maximum up to 3,000 rupees a month. But when you hand over a card where you have the number, you have the address of BKC, you have your company's name associated in the email.
Hmm. True.
I think these small things do not cost much, but it shows that yes, you have made it. Get dressed, invest in appearance, small things like spraying perfume before you enter a meeting room. All of these things matter. Invest in
Okay,
a
so
good
here
watch.
here we are talking about personal brand over a
Yes,
company's brand, correct?
yes, but the
So
thing
you're
is,
saying creating personal brand matters a lot than creating your company's brand. First, let's
yes.
create your own brand, right?
Exactly, because today I may work for a XYZ broking company, and most
Hmm.
of the brokers who are successful start their own brand as well. So they should know Rustom as a brand in himself, irrespective whether he's working for X or Y. Because what matters is I'm in touch with Rustam. I'm not in touch with someone else. I'm not in touch with the brand. I'm in touch with you. And you have certain values, you have certain knowledge, you have certain charm that you bring to the table. And that is why I'm happy working with you.
Right.
So this is what I feel.
Got it. Um,
See, with reference to brands, they have, I mean, again, they can obviously invest in softwares. You can have an amazing website. You can have softwares to take care of the incoming, outgoing calls. All of that is there. But ultimately, it's you, right, that matters.
so when it comes to creating website and creating or marketing yourself on social media, this can be a lot for an individual broker to do. So
Yes, that's a good
which
point.
which are the business processes which an individual broker or a small team who is consulting in commercial real estate can automate the processes?
I got You're right over here. See, obviously, I work in companies where we can afford Salesforce and the best of the softwares.
True, true.
But tomorrow, if I want to start my own brand, Rustom Reality example, I
Hmm.
obviously cannot afford Salesforce. So then there are various free softwares like Microsoft To Do. It's basically a software that allows you to understand, it's a task management software to begin with, but
Hmm.
it basically streamlines your business. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Rakesh, even you're using this particular software, right?
Yeah,
Currently.
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So you got to
It's a
understand, huh, you please.
So, guys, just for your information, Microsoft To Do is a free tool which is provided by Microsoft in every laptop or desktop that you use. And the amazing thing is that you can actually share your tasks with your team. You don't have to have a functional or a paid service. Microsoft To Do actually, I'll have to create a new session for that. But yeah, Microsoft To Do, you can search it on your Windows tab and you will find it pretty easy to use. And
Exactly.
feel free to comment us if you want to learn about that. We'll be happy to run you through another webinar like this for Microsoft To Do.
Yes. So everything is possible as long as you do the proper research.
Got it, got it. So my next question is, Rustam, how can local brokers find best spaces for their clients? I mean, clients come up with weird, kind of requirements and weird kind of locations. So how can they find best spaces for their clients?
Hmm. Okay, that's a good question. Again, this is through experience speaking to local brokers that I speak on regular basis. Um, and I've explained a part of this in the previous conversation we've had. Every broker knows their particular market inside out. What I've noticed is if I'm a broker in Andheri, I know Andheri inside out. If I'm a broker in Malad, I'll know Malad inside out. And when a client does inquire for say inventory or a particular office requirement outside my particular category, the simplest thing what I would do is instead of spending 2 3 days going to a new market, running through buildings, understanding what the inventory is, I would prefer handing it over to a trusted companion who will help me with the inventory. I would share the inventory with the client, and accordingly try to convert the deal. It's obviously a second thing about splitting the brokerage. So that is, I think, the most efficient way, because in terms of inventory, there's no two ways about it. When you are in the market long enough, you know which building, what exists, which inventory exists, which inventory is expected to, which client is expected to exit at what time. So I think it's just it just is embossed in your memory. Ki, okay, this is what I'm looking at. Like, please. I think that's about it. That's what I can contribute for this question.
Right. Okay. So one personal advice, Rustam, that you have received, which you want to share with local brokers.
Ah,
It
one
can be
personal
any,
advice.
like not really related to business.
You know what? I would just advise don't try to do everything, especially if you are like a 2, 3 team member. Just understand your niche, concentrate on that. The market is big enough for everyone. Uh,
True.
More attractive the market, more sharks in the water. You come to Andheri, the competition is so crazy. I'm telling you, places like Andheri, every watchman is a broker, unofficial broker. Everyone knows कि हाँ ये बंदे को ये चाहिए चलो मैं यहाँ पे करता हूँ like I know
Right.
brokers have just befriended watchmen security guards chai tapri walas just to get information कि हाँ this is what it is and this is I know this sounds very filmy and all but this actually works the watchman literally tells him अरे ये सेठ ना I heard he wants to exit ये इसका नंबर है जाओ कुछ भी हुआ तो मेरा मार्जिन रखना and that's how local brokers work and that's where the advantage of flexibility comes in you are not bound by
Correct.
a box of rules obviously I'm saying IPCs have massive advantages over brokers as well
Hmm.
but everyone has their own strengths and all you got to understand is how do I work towards the strengths and the flexibility I have and and then you go ahead.
Got it. Got it. Cool. So we just summarize what we discussed, Rustam. I've noted down few points. Right.
So
So we have advised the brokers to focus on hot markets, which is BKC, Andheri, Navi Mumbai. Right. We have advised them to invest in their personal brand over and above their company brand. We have advised them to go digital and have their own presence, have a company email address rather than a personal email address, opt for
yes,
virtual office spaces to physically show the credibility, right?
absolutely,
And have a kitty of conventional as well as co-working properties to offer to your clients, which is very, very important. And
absolutely.
lastly, automate your business process. Automate as much as you can because as a startup or as a local broker, as an individual, this is coming from my experience. More
Yes,
you automate your processes, more is your focus on closing the deals, and more is your focus on finding new deals in the market. And that's when you can
absolutely,
have a win-win situation for your business, right?
absolutely. And understand what the client wants, and understand that if you're late in the market or he has already seen place A, always propose place B and C. Irrespective if you're the first or the last in the market, you never know the clients do change their mind. If they want conventional, do not miss out on co-working. If they want a big enough co-working, do not miss out on conventional. Just consider all possible angles, and I don't think you'll be able to lose any single client that way.
Got it. Got it. Great. So that's it for this event, Rustam. Thank you so much. And this was really, really insightful. And I'm sure our audience and the local brokers would want to reach out to you to learn more. So,
Sure.
guys, if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to comment on our LinkedIn profile. I'm Rakesh Kumar. This is Mr. Rustam Engineer. We'll be happy to answer all your comments. Although we may not be able to do it immediately, but please allow us time. We will surely answer your queries.
Sure, sounds good, Rakesh. So it was a pleasure being here. And
Pleasures is all ours.
okay,
Great. So good night and see you in our next episode, which is on 27th of October. That is for the food and cafeteria business, guys. Do not miss that. Okay. Stay tuned. We'll meet again. Have a good day. Bye.